Building champions in Raid Shadow Legends is not easy. I'm one of those players that has reached level 90 and I've been playing every day since the game has launched. With all those battles fought, I have a decent understanding on how to build certain champions, and with my resource management, efficiency approach, and budget builds in mind, I want to share what my champions look like after all this time in 2021. But before I get to that, here's a quick reminder on how you can support this channel for full-time content creation. I do play other gacha games, for example, Summoner's Glory, the only game that I know where you can actually help other players summon to get better drops. You can enter the promo code BGE during character creation to get free in-game loot. Or this other game that I can afford to play every day, and this one really feels like a mobile game because you have instant battles. You can enter the promo code Bionic before level 15 to get free in-game loot. All download links will be in the description and comment section. And today's champion build is going to be the one, the only, the legendary Renegade. Yes, she is literally a legendary on anybody's account. In fact, I have two builds on my account because yes, there is a few different things you might want to do with Renegade, especially the way you're going to gear them and especially their speeds as well. So if you can afford to do a second one, you're going to save yourself a little bit of extra work, okay? Let's first go over the kit here real quick. Cooldown. This is what we want her for, the cooldown reduction. If you don't have Prince Kaimar, you have Renegade. She is good enough for all of the end game content, as you will see with today's build. And also we kind of like this here for the decreased speed. Decreased accuracy is useful, but especially the decreased speed, triple hit for the Fire Knight. And then for the A1 we have a heal reduction, also good for the Fire Knight. Sometimes though, you kind of don't want the extra heal reduction, or you would not really want the decreased speed and decreased accuracy. I'll also explain that in a little bit. And then we have increased ally resistance all battles by 40. This is huge for a rare champion. This is literally one of the best auras. And finally, here's a quick also overview of, by the way, this will be on my BGE's guide spreadsheet, right? We're going to update the Renegade number 1 and Renegade number 2, which is all the way at the bottom of the list, but we'll get back to that at the end. But here's a quick overview of her multipliers in case you guys would want to check that out. She basically doesn't deal damage, right? You don't want her to deal damage. You really just want this here to be up as often as possible. So you want to gear her to emphasize this. And this is also a champion that you don't mind if she dies, right? So let's go check out what she can do. Starting with the dungeons, literally all 4 dungeons. She is in there for all end game builds, whether it be level 24 or level 20. So we're going to go over some of these teams, but we're not going to run all of these dungeons. It would take a little bit too much time. Right now, my stage 24 is relatively stable with this team right here. In fact, I can duo this stage, but if I want to go a little bit faster, and let's say I'm just going for better gear drops, I would use this team right here. I don't really do Ice Golem 20, but if I were to do Ice Golem 20, I think I'd probably just use the same team. To be honest, this is one of those that kind of works well with those champion anyway. Then we have for the Spider 24, the team that you see right there with the level 50 Renegade, because she is a little bit different. Okay, so she is slower, and instead of having to swap gear back and forth, I like to use just the second one. The reason I had built a second one was not because I couldn't do it with the main one, was because before the AI fix, we had to have a totally different build, even slower on Renegade. So it meant like almost literally putting no gear on my Renegade. And instead of doing that, I just built a second one. But I also kind of geared this one right here to take a hit or two from these spider links. I think that's a little bit important because of the way the Archmage works with Akoth the Seared. You might end up taking a hit, and you want that to go on the Renegade to protect your cold hearts, because they got to survive and they have to do a second Heart Seeker, or else this is not going to work. But this is one of those runs where she doesn't even take a hit, therefore it is going to be relatively fast because you're not adding extra animations, which I think is absolutely fantastic, right? So I've been running this here for a while now, but if I want to go to, let's say, Spider 20, I would use a slightly different team, and this is one of the only ones where she would not be in there. Okay, so for Spider 20, we're going for the good old kind of like new build that you see right down here. So no Renegade. This is the only place where I do not use Renegade. Let's keep going. with the next ones, we're gonna have the Dragon. Same thing here, she is definitely in there. Renegade with 2 Royal Guards. This is for 20, right? So this is kind of like a speed run for stage 20. But if we want to do stage 24, Dragon right here, it would be this team right here. The main Renegade is in that one as well. And then for the Fire Knight, we have the good old Fire Knight 20, which is usually done with this team right here. But if we want to go to 24, I would use a slightly different one, but she's still in there. It would be the one that you see right up here. Right there, stage 25. Sorry, I do 25 on this one because of the weak affinity with our Royal Guard and Allure. But overall, she is in all 4 dungeons. That's how good she is. Obviously, she is useful in other places, such as the Doom Tower, whether it be normal or the hard Doom Tower, mainly the floors. I can use the team that you see right here for all the floors, probably all the way up to floor 90, where I then have to switch my Renegade for an Arbiter, and I have to manual a few of them. I can maybe semi-manual, but for the most part, all the rest is full auto with the Renegade in here, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I don't necessarily have the fastest times here because, you know, I don't have 2 Prince Kaimars, but man, if you have a Renegade, it is good enough for the end game content. Obviously, also really good in the Faction Wars. I now use her in there. Knight Revenant was probably the last team I had to try and complete to do on full auto. It does take a relative amount of time to do this, but with a Renegade in here and a Faceless, I can reset the skill of a Faceless and it's a one-shot kill across the board. I have a Rector Draft in here and a Soulless for some crowd control and survivability, and we have a trusty Doom Priest. I don't have a run for you guys because it's super long and tedious, but it does work, and if ever you guys want to see one, just come on stream and I'll be glad to show you, right? So that's pretty much it for where we use a Renegade. Nobody really uses her in the arena, or at least not myself, but now let's go over her gear. Or should I say both of them, because like I said, there is a second one to cover, but let's do the main one first. Level 60, fully maxed out in a shield set. That is for the extra buff with a seer. You don't care about the size of the shield whatsoever. You just want the extra buff itself. However, you might want to make her strong enough to add a little bit of survivability to your champions, especially for the Ice Golem and the Fire Knight 20, where you will occasionally get a hit, and that will help protect your Cold Hearts, all right? So we have defense, even though HP here might be a little bit better, but I was probably just going for the overall speed. You will also notice that she has a good amount of accuracy. Again, that is mainly for the Fire Knight. As for the ring defense, it could be HP. Same thing here, it could be HP. And then for the banner, we have some HP, not even fully maxed out. The reason I'm not even maxing this out is because I don't want to tweak her speed too much. The total stats that she has right now, especially the speed, the accuracy, is the sweet spot, right? So if I start playing around with the gear, I might screw this up, then I'm gonna have to shuffle more gear around, so you don't necessarily want to do that, right? All the skills are done on this champion. And then for the Masteries, here's what I'm using. We have Bulwark for the tier 6. Again, this is to protect your Cold Hearts when you take that first hit against the Fire Knight, assuming it doesn't work properly. Also for the Ice Golem, same concept here. I have a few champions with Bulwark on to help protect either my Septimus or my Seer, depending on which stage I'm working on. And then we have a lot of things here into support. Master Hexer, Evil Eye being also really important. Maybe I can show you guys a run of the Fire Knight 20 to explain a little bit here of what's going on. And then for the second Renegade, this one is specifically now for the Spider 24. All she needs to be is slower. I could work with the other one. Again, maybe I could just remove the boots and this would be just fine, but I had her built already and I thought, why not just, you know, make it simple so that I don't have to shuffle more things around. You don't need to do this, but for this one, it was kind of just random stats overall with some extra defense. I just wanted her to be able to take a hit or two from the Spiderlings. That's it, right? Which is why I have like flat defense gear here, because again, it doesn't really matter. And on champions that are level 50, flat defense gear is actually pretty decent. It's going to give you a better overall boost to your defense compared to, let's say, the percentage. The skills are not done on this one, and there's no masteries done on this one for the way that I use her, okay? So before we go to the BGE's guides and the summary of this build, let's quickly go over the Fire Knight 20 to explain a little bit what's going on. And we're gonna hope that we do get hit by the Fire Knight. All right, so here we go with our run, and also hoping that the debuffs kind of land here. That would be really annoying if they don't. AoE decrease defense and weaken. We did get them all. Big nuke from Seer, easy peasy. Again, the shield set here is coming into play. It is adding extra damage. Right here, we reset the skills. Cold Heart 1, Cold Heart 2, AoE decrease defense and weaken. Nuke, good to go. So here on the boss, every once in a while, we're gonna take a hit. Right, we are going to take a hit. Something's going to go wrong. Maybe the previous waves, one of the mobs did not die. So that is why you have Bulwark here, right? To protect your Cold Hearts from not dying so they can recover from this. Evil Eye proc right there. Then we're going to get another Evil Eye proc right there. That's also pretty important. You saw how full the turn meter was. If you don't have that, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to do this consistently. And finally, we're going to finish probably with a nuke here from our Seer if we can get around to her. So in this particular case, we did not take a hit, not the end of the world, but if we don't nuke her right there with Seer, we are going to take a hit, right? Boom, done. If not, Bulwark with the stats that you saw in Renegade would have been sufficient to protect my 2 Cold Hearts. Now let's go check out the guides, which has all my other champion builds and full account speed tuning. So if you have any question about the other champions you saw today, they should be in here with the accurate speed on there. You also have an equipment overview of what they are wearing. But if you want more information, you can hover over the champion in question and you can click on that YouTube video. It is going to basically do the full rundown as we just did today for our Renegade, which is a priority number 1 on my account, as you can see right here. So what this means is that she doesn't necessarily have the best gear, but she needs something very specific. So I always try to prioritize getting that right first before, let's say, working on priority number 2 champions. Her speed 184, the range I say 184 to 192. She needs to be slower than Seer, but not by a ton, or else it is going to cause issues with your Lydia. So the speed that you see here, it is to work with my Lydia and my Seers. That's really important. For the equipment, we have defense percent for gloves and chest, speed boots. The rest is defense and HP. Shield set, absolutely amazing for all dungeons, all the Doom Tower floors, and of course now the faction wars for myself. And then the Renegade number 2, which is not exactly a must on my account, but she's at 152 speed. I could easily do that with a swap of the boots on the main one. But for this one, if you want to try and replicate something similar for just Spider 24, defense percent, flat defense for the chest, defense percent for the boots, defense for the ring and amulet. She's not 60, there's no banner, and she has just random gear, specifically Spider 24. So there you have it, guys. My legendary Renegade, or Renegades, I guess, on my account. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.